conference open. And to do that for us this morning is none other than the #1 citizen of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency Muhammadu Buhari G, CFR, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. He is represented here today by none other than the...
My Lord, please be seated. Your Excellency, the Executive Governor of Lagos State, His Excellency Babajide Sanwo-Olu, ably represented this afternoon by His Excellency, the Deputy Governor of Lagos State, Dr. Femi Hamzat, here present. My Lord, the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Dr. Ibrahim Tanko Mohammed, CFR, Justices of the Supreme Court and the Court of Appeal, serving and retired, here present. My learned brother Silk, the President of the Nigerian Bar Association, for Usaro SAN, and first President of the Nigerian Bar. Our keynote speaker, the President of the International Bar Association, here present. The Chief Judge of Lagos State, the Acting Chief Judge of the Federal High Court, my Lord, the President of the National Industrial Court, here present. My Lords, spiritual and temporal, here present. And my Lords, the Justices of the Superior Court of Records. Distinguished members of the Senate and House of Representatives, here present. Learned senior advocates, senior government officials, distinguished ladies and gentlemen of Nigerian Bar Association, which he graciously personally attended last year. Mr. President is today attending Tokyo Conference on African Development in Japan, which is targeted at facing and shaping the Nigerian future. I am delighted on his behalf to address this distinguished gathering on the occasion of the opening ceremony of the 2019 Annual Conference of the Nigerian Bar Association. I thank our great association for the invitation to declare this conference open. I am hopeful that this conference will reaffirm and consolidate the position of the Nigerian Bar Association as a critical stakeholder in the affairs of our great nation. Mr. President is indeed informed that with an average attendance of over 10,000 participants, this conference represents one of the largest single gatherings of lawyers anywhere in the world. I congratulate you on this feat and commend you all for consistently organizing and improving this conference over the years in a manner that has given our dear country. The theme of this year's conference, which is facing the future, is one which will certainly resonate with all lovers of progress and social growth in light of our contemporary domestic and global realities. I also consider it significant in view of the fact that it once more demonstrates the willingness of the NBA to address issues not only related to the narrow practice of law, but more importantly, to the evolution of societies within which the law is to be practiced. In adopting this theme, the NBA, in my opinion, has demonstrated the resolve to confront the challenges of an inevitable future frontally by deploying significant intellectual capital, not only to attempt an outstanding of that future, but indeed to master it. Progressive societies make quantum leaps by planning for the future. It is a common saying that we plan to fail when we fail to plan. Societies can therefore only experience positive transition from one level to the next level when there is a collective or shared vision of a future directions or destination. Such shared visions must then be complemented by deliberate plans to strengthen institutions, review processes, and eliminate natural and man-made obstacles in order to achieve the heights we must attain if humanity is to continue in its present trajectory of improvement in all spheres of life. I found the theme of this year's conference particularly fitting too, because it accords with the fundamental direction of this administration's policies and actions since the commencement of the first tenure in 2015. We have been propelled by the consciousness that the present generation of Nigerians cannot afford to run the affairs of the country in a manner that will prejudice the well-being and comfort of our future generations. In a progressive manner, we are therefore instituting and implementing deliberate policies designed to empower our national institutions and improve our law enforcement and advocacy processes in order to promote accountability, transparency, and restitution in the management of our national affairs. In doing this, we have had to disrupt age-long assumptions and unsettled historical narratives, the presumed immunity of sacred cows in our society, simply to demonstrate that henceforth the law will be used as a potent instrument to regulate the activities of all persons and institutions in our country in a fair and transparent manner. I'm of course aware that there is still a lot more to be done, and I assure you that we shall not waver or become tired in the present crusade to achieve a radical transformation of values in the discharge of public responsibilities, both within the public and private sectors. Given the enormity of challenges we face today as a nation, we indeed have no option but to ensure that our national commonwealth is deployed for the benefit of the majority of our people and not for the greed and interest of a few. According to all credible domestic and international demographic bodies, Nigeria by 2015 and beyond could become about the fourth most populous country in the world. These statistics should challenge us all as the privileged elite and the decision makers of today to pursue policies and initiatives which will guarantee that the future will be a prosperous one and that our potential population size will actually become an asset and not a recipe for human suffering, disaster, and implosion. As Africa's largest economy, we are naturally in a vantage position to utilize our present capacities optimally in order to reach our full economic potentials to cater for our population size. The coming into force of the African Continental Free Trade Area Treaty, which Nigeria signed on July 7, 2019, presents us a major opportunity to tap into African continent enormous human and capital economic resources, thereby allowing for deployment of our citizens' acclaimed spirit of enterprise and innovation. As a professional body desirous of charting a path into the future, I must also encourage you to take full advantage of the benefit of this treaty once it becomes fully operational in order to expand the scope of your services on the shores of Nigeria through support to emerging trans-border commercial entities and provision of advisory legal services to individuals and institutions, among others. Within our borders, we must also collectively work to harness the enormous and largely untapped potentials which exist within our country in order to move the trajectory of our economic performance permanently in the direction of real growth and development. The economic recovery and growth plan, which we are pursuing vigorously, aims to achieve sustained, inclusive growth in the medium term through structured transformation and focused expenditure on critical areas of national life. We are, for instance, mindful of the fact that there is a need to improve and expand expenditure in critical infrastructure such as power, rail, and road networks in order to unleash the inherent potentials in our economic space. It was also this thinking that informed the present administration decisions in 2018 to establish the Presidential Infrastructure Development Fund with a seed fund of $650 million approved by the National Economic Council, which is currently being managed by the Nigerian Sovereign Investment Authority. The initiatives aims to eliminate the risk of project funding, cost variation, and policy changes that have marred the face of infrastructural delivery in our country over the last few decades. As a country, we must exert more efforts to close the infrastructure gap which we currently suffer in Nigeria and which in a very direct manner affects the quality of life that is possible for our people. As lawyers, I recognize your role in attracting a higher level of project funding to Nigeria from international sources, given your individual and collective relationships with domestic and international financial institutions. Please use these connections and collaborations for Nigeria and not only for the promotion of individual or narrow interest. As you are all aware, law and economic development are closely related subjects, and the practice of both impacts our lives either positively or negatively